The question is, if you want peace in the Middle East, the first thing that has to be done is that the people who have been held hostage since the 7th of October have got to be released. Now, we're going to talk to a lady in a moment called Meirav Leshem Gonen, whose daughter, Warmi, 23 years old, was kidnapped from the Supernova Festival. Her daughter was shot during the festival and during the kidnapping. This is such a tragic story, I can't tell you. Meirav, good evening. Thank you so much for giving us some of your time. You must have been living a nightmare ever since October the 7th.
I think this is the exact way to try and explain people how I feel, how we feel, the families of the hostages. This is 281 days of October. This is a nightmare.
How do you manage to actually, I mean, I know you're becoming a very outspoken critic of various organizations, quite rightly so. I think you're quite critical as well of the Israeli government, aren't you?
I think there are different ways of approaching this kind of battle that we are facing now. And I think that as a citizen, as exactly as other citizens, the one that we are approaching is our government. And this is something which is in democracies is very strong. And I think each and every one of us has a different way of saying his words and fighting.
Do you think there should be a change? Should there be a change of government, or do you want the war to finish before?
I want my daughter home. I don't know what is, I think there are a lot of things that needed to be done to make sure she will come back home, but the first thing is to make sure they're coming back home. And we have now the opportunity to make an agreement that will bring them back home, the one that are living still alive and the one that are already murdered. We need them back home.
How, I mean, I don't want to sound awful, but how are you feeling yourself in relationship to whether your daughter is alive or dead?
I have, in my reality, my daughter is alive. The last thing we know from my daughter is 230 days ago, when the previous agreement took place, and the women that came back, some of them were with my daughter. So I know she's alive. She is alive, and we need to make sure she will come back alive. So all the other people that are still alive, but we need to bring also the ones that were murdered. This is something we are owing to the families.
We're showing a picture, if you're watching us on TalkTV at the moment, of you and your daughter. How difficult is it, I wonder, to be in the situation that you are and have no control over what's going on?
First, the picture that you're showing is the last picture I have with Romy. It was taken 4 days before she was kidnapped. That's the last picture I have. And I don't know how my daughter looks like today. It's 9 months, more than 9 months. She will be 24 in less than a month. And
some people are talking out, and I can assure you this isn't me or Ash. Some people are talking out and saying, what everybody says happened on the 7th of October never really happened. And you know, people go on supporting Hamas and saying, oh, no, it's just that Israel wanted to have a go at Gaza. How do you feel about the negativity of some people around the world?
I think that sometimes ignorance is bliss, but in this case, regarding people who are saying that thing, this ignorance is not a bliss, because this is something that will affect all of us, all the Western world, all the free world. If we wouldn't understand, we will not understand that there is a real pure evil, which Hamas represented, we will lose the free world.
But they're not ignorant, are they?
My daughter was kidnapped, that's for sure. My daughter was kidnapped, and she is still held by Hamas, who did all these things. Maybe they should see the pictures, you know. Maybe they should go into the site that you have. You can find the site, not in Israel, but outside Israel, the site of 7th of October, to see the films that the Hamas terrorists took on that day, not Israel.
People aren't ignorant about it, though. They're denying it. It's like they know it happened. They're just denying it because it looks bad on them to support a terrorist group.
I think it's not just only looks bad, but it's very hard to really grasp it, really understand that this is something that could happen to a Western country. We think we are very strong, but we're strong only if we are together. And I suggest those people to understand that this is the fight of the whole free world against the pure evil, and we have to stick together.
When Warmi was captured, she managed to phone you, didn't she?
We were on the phone with her for 4.5 hours when she was hunted by Hamas terrorists. And while she was trying to escape, hiding in bushes, writing to me, "Mommy, I cannot talk because they will hear me." This is something that taken from the Holocaust. And when she was shot, they were on the way out on Road 232, and she called me when she was already shot. And the conversation started with, "Mommy, I was shot, I'm bleeding, and I think I'm gonna die." And this how a 45 minutes of conversation started. While I'm hearing all the shooting around her, there were people, you know, the army was fighting the terrorists around the car of my daughter, and I heard everything. I heard it when the terrorists opened the door. I heard them when they tried to take the car together with my daughter, and when they couldn't start the car, they just took my daughter, grabbed her from the hair on the road brutally, and punched her when she tried to see. This is my daughter. She was hurt. She's, 23, and I heard everything on the phone.
We know she survived the shooting because of other girls that came. Do they say where she's being kept? Because we know some were kept in like an Al Jazeera journalist's house or in a UNRWA teacher's house. Do we know where she's being kept at all?
We know she was in the tunnels. We don't know anything else.
They found a phone, apparently. They found a phone in Gaza?
They found her phone, yes. We located the phone in Gaza. This was one of the signs that she's there. But later, when we heard about, the women that were with her, this is a more solid sign of life.
Meirav, what would you say to those people holding the hostages at the moment?
I wouldn't talk to them. I would talk to the free world and say to the leaders of the free world, we have to make sure that also the Palestinian people will be freed from Hamas hands, and we have to stick with it together and have to be together with it because we're in it.
Yeah.
Do you think that people don't realize that there were quite a number of Palestinian Israelis, and that the Palestinian people themselves are obviously having as much trouble as everybody else?
Well, yes, this is the situation. This is the biggest problem, because Hamas doesn't care about the Palestinian, about the citizens that lives in Gaza. They don't care. They don't care if they will die. They are shooting at them while the IDF is protecting them when they are going through some of the roads. So Hamas doesn't care about life, and that's the biggest difference.
And this is the worry about the people in the West supporting them, isn't it? I mean, because they're going against what the Palestinian people being free in Gaza. They're supporting the terrorist subjugatory organisation.
That's exactly what they don't understand. When they say free Gaza and goes with the Hamas, or free Palestine and goes with the Hamas, they're just doing one thing and the opposite.
I think they understand, though. I think they do understand.
I really hope so. I really hope so, because Hamas is not free Palestine. Hamas is
ISIS,
eliminating the free world. That's what he wants, and he has places also in Germany and other places in Europe, and we have to make sure that
They live in this
will
country.
not-
There you
yes,
go.
and we have to make sure they will not win. They will win if we will not be together and will not fight for our life. And I think that I'm glad that the world is seeing this truth now, and I hope that we will be all see also the coming back of the hostages really soon.
What do you
So
see
we
as the
will-
future between Israel and Gaza and the West Bank? What's the future?
I don't know. This is, depends of you also and other countries that supports the strength of the world. And I think we have to do it together. We will not be able, Israel will not be able to do it by herself, because we all need to be together in it. We have to fight this pure evil together.
Meirav,
So I don't know. I really don't know. You have to remember that I'm a mother.
Yeah.
And
Can I
at
tell
the
you,
end,
Meirav,
I want my daughter at home.
Absolutely. The majority of people in this country, I think, understand exactly where you're coming from, and I apologise for these idiots who go out on demonstrations from universities, not only here but in America as well, who don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Thanks for watching. Drop a comment below. Don't forget to like, share, and hit subscribe to stay updated with our latest content. Until next time, stay informed and inspired. This is Dejobnik signing off.